Here we go. Okay, so for my team who's going to watch this recording, and I'll send it to you for your team too, but Heather is a 3-star diamond in her first business center, a diamond in her second, and she has 7 lifetime diamonds, and we basically started at the same time. I think you started like a little bit before me, just a little bit.
And I thought it was the opposite way. I don't
Really?
know. I think your name is the first name I see up there.
Interesting. Okay. And then, and of course she tries to be humble and says that she misses Success Club at least once a year, but.
And my team knows this. I have never been Success Club Legend, never been Success Club All-Star, always. I always crack it one month.
Which is amazing, but anyway, all right. So go ahead and share your wisdom with us for tonight.
I will. Okay, so Jackie just gave me an introduction, so I don't need to introduce myself. My name is Heather, and I've been coaching for 4 years. And my, 99% of my business, I would say, maybe I'll say 90 because you meet people out and about, but 99% of my business is done through Facebook. It's just, for some reason, I'm a talker, so I need to have a place that I can type a whole bunch of stuff. Sometimes when I'm on Instagram, Jackie's so good with just a picture. For me, I need a bunch of wording to go with the picture. So for some reason, Facebook seemed to be my niche. I think I maybe had one coach from Instagram, and she's still with me now, but I just never really made a go of it on Instagram. And it's funny because I met Shannon, my coach, on Twitter. So you would think I'd be using other avenues, but there's just something about Facebook that I really connect with other people. So that's been my platform pretty much for 4 years. And even though I'll use when I'm out and about and I chat with people and add them, Facebook is probably my number one. So I'm going to share a screen because I like to ramble. I don't have notes. Okay, hold on. Let's see how this goes. Which way can I do this? Is that working?
Sometimes I have to share to my desktop, and then from my desktop, I can open up whatever.
Okay, can you see that now or no?
No.
Shoot. Okay, hold on. So how do you share it to your desktop?
So when it says share screen, then you can select just when mine pops up.
Is that it?
I see your Zoom. I see to enter Zoom, and now I see it. So just put it on maybe open it to the full.
There we go. Awesome. Okay. Oh, that's better. Perfect. I wish I could slide it over. Maybe I can just slide you guys around here.
Yeah.
Okay. So here are the topics we're going to talk about tonight. About being intentional on Facebook, knowing what you're going to post when you go on, know who you're speaking to every single time you post, and attracting your dream coach and tribe through Facebook. I'm going to encourage you guys to get some pen and paper because unless you just want to take a screenshot of what I'm doing, but you're going to want to write some side notes down so you remember. So if you have a pen and paper or your note section in your phone, then go for it because it's going to be helpful. Okay, so the first thing you want to do is identify the people that you do want to work with and be really specific about who you want to work with. Is it go-getters? Is it, because I've seen a lot of people that are more on the discount coach side and they project that on their Facebook. So those are the people they attract, right? So be super specific. If you want go-getters, then put, I want to be a go-getter. I want them to be, fit, or I want them to be still on their journey. Be super specific. And I'm going to kind of clarify what I mean by that on the next page. So this is my dream person. And it's super specific. And of course, you're going to go outside of this box sometimes. You're not going to attract, I have moms who don't, I have women who don't have any kids at all. I have moms who have one child, some that aren't expecting at all, right? So here's the thing you want to do is just be super specific of what you're talking to when you go on social media, so that when you go on there, you kind of know who exactly you're talking to. So for me, it's a 35-year-old mom of 3 or more, because they kind of understand the pressures of having a ton of kids, right? They kind of get my age group. I connect with them. I understand what it's like to be 20 years out of high school, right? You kind of want to have that common ground. So somebody who likes social media, I'm not ashamed to admit that I like to be on Facebook. I'll say it on my Facebook. And I even say it sometimes when people ask me about coaching. I'm like, if you like social media, that's a huge plus. If you like taking selfies, that's a huge plus, because coaches, we take selfies, right? Now, I don't mind taking selfies. And if somebody goes, oh, no, I hate selfies. I'm like, that could be a bit of a problem, right? Because we do take a lot of pictures of ourselves just to show people transformations and stuff. So likes coffee, because I post about coffee all the time. That's something that connects other people. And right, Jackie? So one of those things that you look at, you're thinking, that's not really a big deal and it has nothing to do with fitness, but you want things outside of the fitness box, right? You don't want to just stay within Beachbody because those aren't necessarily all the people you're going to attract. And those are how you're going to get challengers, right? You're not going to get somebody through posting your meal for the day if they're not into healthy eating, right? You want to post things that connect other people to you. And if you leave your profile public, then other people are going to see the posts, right? So you can reach more people to connect with you. Be like, I love Starbucks coffee. I love Tim Hortons coffee. Whatever it is, right? They connect with you. Likes to travel. That's a big one for me. And since these Beachbody coaches, we travel a lot. So I like to post pictures of where I've been, talk about where I want to travel, where I want to go. It's huge, right? And a lot of people that are Beachbody coaches really want that time, right? They really want that freedom to be able to travel. So that's kind of like, for me, a lot of people that I attract are huge wanderlusts just like me. So likes fashion, but comfy fashion. Like, I don't necessarily relate to people that are in heels all the time and wearing short skirts, right? I relate to people that are in yoga pants a lot, but still like to be kind of trendy. So, and that sounds so specific, and that doesn't mean that a girl really loves to wear her high heels and, you know, stilettos and a short skirt or whatever, like a blazer, that's fine. But what I'm attracting is people that dress like me. Likes reality TV, because I like The Bachelorette. I like The Bachelor. I like Survivor. I talk about those things on my page often. I'll put like a little rose and just a little snippet to get people talking about the more. This is what you want to do, is just cause engagement on your page. The more engagement you can get on your posts, the more your post is bumped to the top of the newsfeed. So what you want to do is constantly be targeting people that are like you, that are going to be drawn to you, not necessarily for fitness. Hey, people who love reading. I love to read. I have a book club on Facebook. Probably got 100 people in it. We don't talk that often, maybe once a month, but it's still people that connect with things that I like to do, right? It's like, so I'll probably add 1 or 2 people a month in that group. And then eventually they add me on Facebook as a friend, right? Because it's just something they connect with to me. They totally understand that I like books. We'll talk about our latest reads, right? A lot of them are like mystery novels, right? And you start a conversation with people. It's totally outside of fitness. I like people who want balance of health and fitness. If any of you are friends with me on Facebook, you saw my post today. I was like, if you're looking for somebody that's going to give you a 6-pack, it's probably not me, because I ate nachos last night and I had 2 drinks and I loved it, right? Like, if you are looking for somebody that's going to tell you like, oh, you need to eat this amount of food and this amount of food, I'm probably not the right coach, and I'm going to be open about that, right? I'm not going to be on. It's great. I think it's awesome if that's your goal. I'll support you to get to that goal, but that's not necessarily what my goal is. So I'm very open about balance and going out to eat when I want to. I'm a foodie, but also like joining that with being active, living a healthy lifestyle. And then of course, desires freedom in life. That's one of my big posts. I love the fact that when I get up in the morning, I get my kids off to school, the day is mine. I choose when I work. If Jody's on vacation, my husband's name is Jody, if you don't know me. If he's on vacation, we get to hang out together his whole vacation. When he's like, I booked vacation for this time, it's not even an issue of, oh, I don't have that time off work, right? I want the people that connect to that, and they want to be able to drop everything and join their families on vacation, right? That's huge. That's a huge thing for families especially, right? So that is how specific I am, which sounds almost like tedious and almost like you're pushing away people that aren't like you, and that's not the case, right? It's just that this is going to give you a purpose when you post. And my next slide will kind of explain what I mean by that.
Yes, my team, we've covered like creating your own avatar before, and that's really what that is.
That's totally the same thing.
Yeah.
So then you've got your, like what I said, you've got your age. I really target women because I've had one male coach on my team, and we didn't connect quite on the same level as I do with my girls, right? Like there's just something about fellow moms or fellow women. We go through the same struggles. Most of your network is the same. So I target women mainly. And even when I do a sponsored ad on my Facebook page, like my business page, I never say all, I say women all the time, from the ages of like 23 to 45, right? Like that's just my people, and I just relate to them more, right? They're going to understand where I'm coming from. I'm going to understand where they're coming from. Relationship status, I typically attract those who are married, right? Because we're at the same stage of life, especially the fact that, you know, I said 35-year-old women, most women in my life that are 35 have been married and maybe have a couple kids, right? Kids, education, core beliefs and values kind of have to match. I'm not like super religious, but I do have like, you know, you have those beliefs or core values. I was raised in a Christian home, right? I'm not like hardcore, you have to live this way, but I do have beliefs, and I stick to that, right? And you really attract those same people, right? Interests and hobbies, like I said, running and reading. Like attracts like. If you want to be if you want positive, happy go-getters, those are the traits you should possess too. So a lot of times I see coaches on there and they're not even coaches, just people in general, right? They're complaining about their day every single day. They never have a good day and they can't figure out why all the people around them are so negative all the time. I'm like, what are you projecting, right? You're only gonna bring back what you're putting out. So if you're on your Facebook page constantly complaining that you can't lose weight, constantly complaining about the business, or you're not going to attract anybody that's going to be a go-getter because you're going to be stuck in that funk, right? So always remember that being positive is going to be what brings people to you, and being a go-getter. I think I was talking to Alicia about this the other day, actually, about like going to hitting ranks fairly quickly, because I find if you're a go-getter and you're like, okay, I went emerald, okay, I went diamond, okay, I went star diamond, people are going to be like, I want to do that in my business. I want to hit those phases really, really fast, right? If you're kind of like complacent and you're not really showing that your business is moving forward, then you're not going to attract those people that are going to want to move forward, because you're not showing that that's what you're doing. You want to get those people that are like driven and motivated, right? So you have to be driven and motivated, and that's what you share. So this is really specific. You want to get inside their head and heart by answering the questions. Oh, I got to move us around. If I can. How do I move this bar of our faces? I'll see if I can figure out what I said. Okay, get inside their head or heart by answering the questions on your, answering these questions on your page. And what I mean by that is, a lot of times we wait for people to approach us before we answer the questions. Or we wait to get an objection and we'll talk to people privately about their objection. I like on my Facebook page to just put out exactly what any objections are. So like when I first started the business, I thought I had to host parties. I remember saying to Shannon, like, do I have to host parties? Because that's not my thing. I'm kind of shy and I don't really like to have people over at my house all the time. And my house is always a mess. Like that was a stressor for me, right? I thought, holy crap, I'm a mom of 4 and I can't imagine having people over to my house every weekend to try and sell them crap, right? So I go on my Facebook page and I tell people that, like, you don't have to host parties. Like one of my biggest fears when I first started this was that I had to host parties. Or if it's sinking a lot of money into the business, right? I outright tell people, I didn't even start with a challenge pack. I started with the $39 startup fee.
Me too.
Me too. I was like, I don't even know. Shakeology is not my thing. I don't know about shakes. And I say that on my Facebook page too. I'm like, I wasn't so sure about this whole shake thing, but then I realized, well, people are asking me about it and they're interested, so I'm just going to give it a try because it's in my back office. So I tried it, and clearly for 4 years I've been using it, right? Because I did notice I lost 3 pounds in 2 weeks. I did notice that I had increased energy because I wasn't skipping lunch anymore. So those are the things I share with the people on my page. I'm like, you know what? And I think one of my statuses recently was like, I'm not a shake person or something like that. And then I went into the story of like how that's what I said when I started Beachbody. Like I had no interest. So I don't necessarily want people that are all like, yes, I want to do shakes. Yes, I want to do this. Like look into it for yourself, right? Be your own advocate and see the reasons why you'd want to take it for yourself. I'm a firm believer also, and you can't really sell something you haven't tried, right? So you do have to give it a try. But I want people to be totally open to the fact that it's not necessarily where you have to start. I started completely with programs. I didn't get one challenge pack sale for like 3 months, right? So I pretty much tell people like, shakes weren't really my thing when I started. Or another example is maybe I'd start and say, you can't really make a lot of money in home business. So I'll address those questions right on my page as opposed to just letting people figure it out or waiting till they come to me. I'll just like get right to it. Or I'll make a post. Recently I made a post about, hey, I see you wanting to join me, and I see that you're creeping my page, liking my posts, and you're kind of wanting to join, but you're not really sure, blah, blah. And I probably had like 10 people message me that night, and they're like, you totally were speaking to me. I'm sure you were speaking to me. And I was like, I wasn't speaking to you, but I was speaking to probably like 15 other people that just messaged me, right? Because people are watching your posts and they might be scared to reach out. Address it, call them out on it. And I guarantee somebody's going to message you and be like, you were totally speaking to me. I'm totally wanting to start a group with you, but I'm afraid to. I'm totally wanting to become a coach, but I'm afraid that my network's not big enough, right? So make sure that you're addressing concerns that people are thinking. That way they have a reason to reach out to you, right? So, sorry, did you have something to say, Jackie?
No, I'm agreeing. Yeah.
Okay. So I said Instagram and Twitter only offer you so much text, right? That's probably my biggest problem with Instagram and Twitter is because I just can't say a whole lot, and clearly I have a lot to say, right? So
can't do Twitter. I hate it. I put a few things on there, but it's just not my thing. And I hate going to people's pages and like it's like conversation. You know what I mean? Like everyone's replying back to people. I'm like, it's too much for me to follow.
I know. You almost have to go backwards through the post to get it right, and I'm like, it's just too much brain power for me, right? Yeah. So Shannon just kind of lucked out that I was on my Twitter binge for like that 1 month she saw me on there, right? And for that sake, it's probably worth it. But Twitter's changed a lot too. I find it's more like celebs and, you know, like anybody that's kind of Donald Trump, anybody that's kind of like in the public eye, their posts are being seen. But our post was kind of buried. Like, it's very rare that I'll get anything that's even like remotely favorited or retweeted. Like maybe something about The Bachelor if I hashtag the right thing. So, I mean, it's a great platform, but for me, I just have a lot more to say than just that little bit of text. So, this is kind of what I already covered in my last little bit. What are people's biggest fears and worries? Is it failure as a coach? Are they afraid that maybe I'm not fit enough, right? I say to people, you know what? Day one of my fitness journey was day one of me being a coach. I had never done a Beachbody program from start to finish. I'd had P90X. It was like collecting dust in the basement. So it wasn't like I was hardcore into Beachbody when I started this. I kind of thought, well, this will probably keep me on track if I'm a coach, right? And I tell people that in my Facebook, like, I didn't necessarily intend to go in here and become a successful coach. I kind of started as a means to get healthy myself. And I'm open about that. So when I started, I was 10 pounds heavier. Now I'm back to the same as when I started. But when I started, I lost 10 pounds with my first group. And it was the best group I ever had because we were all in it together. So I always tell people, like, people really enjoy a journey and they really enjoy following your journey. And they like to follow from start to finish. Sometimes when you're, like, I know you struggled with this yourself, Jackie, because you were so fit when you started. So some people were kind of like, well, do I have to be fit? Right? To be a coach, am I fit enough? And I was the opposite. I was still on my journey. So people that come in after the fact, like you, Jackie, like people that saw me after, they're like, but I'm not really fit. And I'm like, but I wasn't when I started. So make sure you're telling people those things. If you weren't fit when you started coaching, let people know that because they want to see that they don't have to be perfect. If you eat nachos on a Saturday night with your challengers, let people know that, right? They want to know that you're real and you're a real person. So like, address those fears and concerns that people are having before they go. They're like, but I really like to, you know, have a margarita, or I really like to eat nachos. Do I have to give that up? Like, talk about it, right? Talk about the cost. I see a lot of coaches, because I didn't start with a challenge pack. I don't really use that whole $164. That was how much I paid to start my own business. I'm like $39, right? But in the end, it cost me more because I bought Shakeology and everything, right? But they'll say $164 was all I spent to start my own business, right? That's a big deal to start a business for $164, right? Like, no overhead, right? No shipping, no refunds, all that kind of stuff. Covering that kind of stuff. I think this part here says, what if I don't have a big network? I think Mindy Wender was one of the ones that was like, I had nobody on Facebook when I started. And she's really open about that. She's like, or Janelle Summers, I don't even think was on Facebook when she started. Am I, or it was not at all, right?
Yeah, and everything of hers was private. Whatever she did have, it was private. She had very little public. Right? She's like the complete opposite of Shalene.
Totally. Yeah, Shalene's like way out there. And then you've got Janelle. And so if you don't have a big network, that's totally fine, right? And make sure you tell people that in your post. Like, it doesn't matter. Like, I'm going to show you how you can expand your network. Like, let them know that you as their coach, you're going to kind of like comfort any fears that they have. And then address it like how you had a really small network when you started, if that was the case for you, right? Also get to what keeps people up at night. Is it the stress of the morning routine? I know so many moms that are up at 5 in the morning is probably normal, maybe for some moms who have early risers, but for me, that's like an ungodly time. So if somebody has to start their day at like 5 in the morning to get all their kids out the door, like I know Lori Vallette on our team, her morning was a gong show when she worked full time. She had to get all the kids to school, drop them all off at daycare, get herself ready for work, right? Like that's hard. Like, especially when you're a mom and you feel almost super guilty. Like I've even posted before. I remember when I used to work and I used to drive by this one daycare and this little guy would stand in the window crying, waving to his parents. And I was like, oh, right. Like that's when I knew that I really wanted to be home with my kids. And I found out I was pregnant shortly after and I never went back to work, right? Because I was just like, I used to look at my own son sitting in the back seat and he would just be staring out the window because he didn't want to go to daycare for the day. He wanted to have a day off with me. And those are things for me that are, oops, I skipped a page, are super, let me go back. Those are things that are super important for me, is being home with my kids, right? And a lot of times, like, I know we had a coach on our team and she was kind of like, well, how do you balance, like, when you're at home and you feel like you might be like almost ignoring your kids if you're on social media? And I'm like, you know what? I might have like 15, 20 minutes that I have to talk to somebody, but I'm there. I'm there to wipe the tears. I can see them. They can see me. We sit beside each other sometimes. They might be watching Paw Patrol or whatever, and I'm just doing 20 minutes of my business, but I'm there. And I feel so present. And for me, that's a big deal, right? I want to be there to clean up any boo-boos, right? So if I have like 20 minutes that I have to be on Facebook, you know what? I have the whole next 8 hours with them as opposed to dropping them off at daycare, right? So get into, does that kind of stress out your people, right? You see that mom that's just like, oh, Monday is coming again tomorrow, and I don't want to leave my kids. I want to stay home with them. Talk to them, reach out to them. Or maybe it'll inspire you to put out a post on Facebook and be like, you know what? I remember dropping my kid off at daycare, and I remember how hard that was, and it sucked, and I hate it, and all I wanted to do was be home with my kids. And I'm so glad Beachbody allowed me to do that, right? So kind of start addressing problems and then give a solution to how they can fix the problem. What causes stress in their life? Usually I put finances twice because clearly it's a problem. Finances is one of the number one things, right? Like even stress in marriages, right? Fighting and whatever. That's a huge, if you can kind of help somebody, even if it's just like, I know when I started this, Jody was like, well, if you could just like pay off our mortgage each month, that would be huge. And I was like, yeah, that'd be perfect, right? So you could even put that on your Facebook page, talk about how, you know what, this one Beachbody check totally paid my mortgage this month. And some people be like, what? You can be a full-time worker and still pay off your mortgage for the month with Beachbody, and you can work outside of the home, right? So even if you're working full-time, add that into it. Like, you know what? I think it was Oksana recently posted something about, I was such a great post. I think I shared it in our team page. She said something about, she's a nurse and she works full time, and one of her kids was sick, and maybe she came down with something, and she was like, I would have stressed this day off before. I would have stressed the lack of money, but because of Beachbody, I could take the sick day and just recover and take care of my kids. And I was like, that's such a big deal. And I was like bawling at my computer reading the post because I thought that's a huge deal to not have that stress of like, oh, I need to go to work and my kids are sick and I'm sick, and right? So I love that she posted that because so many moms can relate to that, right? So sick time, I just said that one. An upcoming wedding, Jackie, right? Like, how do you pay for all these things? There's just so many things in life. What if you just want that fun money or that emergency cash, or savings for a wedding? What if your money is all going out to all your bills and you don't have enough money to pay for your wedding dress, right? Beachbody just paid for your wedding dress. Beachbody just paid for, your reception. Those are big deals. And I post that stuff on my page, right? Any chance you get that you can obviously put the little income disclaimer, because Beachbody's strict on that. You don't want to get in trouble. But anything that you can say that Beachbody has helped improve your life, that's attracting people, because other people are going through the same situations as you, right? People are just people, right? They're not looking at a lot of people are looking at your post and thinking, dang, I wish I could do that, right? I wish that I could pay off my wedding dress with one check. And then for challengers, I don't want to neglect the fact that it's just coaching, right? I want to hit the challenger aspect. So how do you feel? Like for me, right before I started Beachbody, I was certain that I needed to go for blood work. I'm so tired all the time, and I'm a mom of 4, and this is just my life now, and I'm just tired. That's all I can say. And I don't have time to go to the gym anymore because I'm paying more in childcare than I am, in my gym membership. So I just can't afford to go. So I was going maybe one time a month when Jody happened to be home or when the daycare was open at the gym. So I talk about that stuff on my Facebook page. Like, one of the reasons I started Beachbody was so that I could do it at home. I couldn't be consistent if I only did it in the gym. So my way of staying active and healthy was by actually doing it at home. So one of the things you can really target, especially with moms or people who are working all day and they just want to get home, right, is a good way to stay consistent is through home fitness. Like, I've had so many platforms of fitness for the last 20 years. I started the gym hardcore, loved the gym. Weights, I had personal trainers. I went running with jogging stroller when I had 2 kids, and I could put them both comfortably in the jogging stroller. I ran all the time. That was my platform. And I'm open about that. Like, my fitness just changed. It doesn't necessarily have to be about going to the gym or CrossFit or running, it can be home fitness, whatever it is, whatever platform you want to use, right? So share with people why you started coaching, why you started home fitness, right? For me, I started coaching when I started home fitness just because I knew it would keep me more accountable. I was afraid if I started this without being a coach, I'd probably just let it go, right? I'd be like I did with P90X and just quit, because if you don't have accountability. But I was like, oh, if I'm a coach, I probably won't quit. So I talk about that on my page. The things that you're almost afraid to say to people's faces, say it on your Facebook page. So, and this is where it takes us here. Use your adversity to your advantage. So how many times we get objections in a private message, right? Of why somebody can't do that, or why they can't become a coach, why they can't start a fitness program. Use that for inspiration. Write it down. Write down the objection. Obviously, you don't want to put it on your Facebook page like the day they tell you their objection, because that might look a little sketchy, right? But maybe like hold off for a week and be like, you know what? I've had people say, oh, I'm not really a shake person. And I'm like, yeah, I kind of thought that too. But then when I realized I was skipping lunch, then it kind of made more sense to actually fuel my body with nutrients, right? Or I don't know, trying to think of another. I forget what it was, but whatever objection they had for me, I like went on my Facebook page like a week later and I kind of addressed that. And then they kind of came back to me and said, oh, I never really thought of that, right? So whatever objection you're hearing, just write it down, write a little note about it, and then come back and let it inspire you to put a post out, so that, because they're still following you. Go to their page, like a few of their posts right before you post it. And then when you like post that thing, they're going to see it because you guys are engaging, right? So that's kind of one of the secrets of Facebook, is that if you're engaging with other people, your stuff's going to pop up in their newsfeed. So make sure like they're seeing your stuff and they're seeing the things that you want to talk to other people about. So take your objections and make sure you're posting a solution. So you don't really want to post an objection and then not have an answer, right, for them and a solution for them. So make sure if you're going to post a big problem like, oh, I can't work out at the gym anymore, and then you forget to tell them, well, that's why I started home fitness, right? Like, don't just always be like on the Debbie Downer side, like always post the solution. And one of the biggest things I've learned is that emotion leads to action. If you can get to people's heartstrings and get to the reasons why they'd be interested in coaching or why they'd be interested in starting a challenge group, those are the things that are going to prompt action, right? It's not because they're not in the same position. Like if they're actually going to the gym and getting results, then they're not going to care about your home fitness thing. It's always that emotion. It's like, oh, I understand that struggle. I'm like 200 pounds right now. I can't make it up a flight of stairs with my kids. I'm exhausted. I want to go skating with my kids. I want to go sledding. You're posting pictures that you're sledding with your kids. You're skating with your kids. You're running half marathons, right? They're going to be like, I want to be able to do that stuff. So post the things that you wouldn't necessarily want to say to somebody, because, some things are just hard to tell people, right? Post them on your Facebook page and let it be like more of an attraction marketing thing as opposed to like just outright telling them. So this here was one of my posts. I've shared this in my team page before on another call. This, for some reason, this post was like huge and people still come back to me. And it was about a vacation that I took in PEI. We took a month off one summer and went to PEI, and like my bank account money was just, I was barely working. And it was like one of my biggest pay weeks I'd ever had in Beachbody. And I wasn't even hardly working, but it's because I'd already built up a business. And I said in my post, like, so many times we're thinking about all the money coming out of our account on vacation. And this week I was just shocked that money was actually going in. And because our trip was already paid for, right? And a lot of people were like, oh my goodness, that's amazing, right? And people still, like 2-3 years later after I've posted this, still come to me and they're like, I've been thinking about it since that post that you put up like 2 years ago. And I mean, most people don't remember stuff like that, right? So make sure you're posting regularly. But they'll say, I remember you saying that you were earning money while you were on vacation, and that, that's what you were working hard for, was just to have all of us skipping rocks at the beach, right? That was a month-long vacation with my family, and that was like our best vacation, right? Like that and Disney were our top two vacations, and just to have that time away with my family was amazing. And I wasn't thinking about, oh my goodness, maybe we shouldn't buy this dinner out tonight. Maybe we shouldn't take the kids to the amusement rides tonight because we're kind of strapped for cash. We're just like, go to it, kids. Let's get this house. Right? We just let them have fun. They wanted the cotton candy. We were getting it. We weren't worrying about nickel and diming, right? So I posted that on my Facebook page, and I was amazed. I think I was 2 years in, so this must have been 2 years ago. And so I shared that, right? And to me, it was mind-blowing. It was like one of those moments that hit me, and I had to get it out. Like, don't just wait. Like, think that was right on that night, right on vacation. I was like, I have to get this out because it's just so amazing that this is happening and I can't believe it, right? So share it. Share exactly what it is about the business that you love so much, Or if you're not quite there yet, share what it is that you want to aspire to. You know, share like, this is what I'm kind of creating for my life. So I'm working full time now, but I'm doing this on the side because so I don't have to do this all the time, right? Or if it was just, my son got to play extracurriculars this year. My son got to do swimming. I got to go out to the movies tonight and it cost $100. And it was like my Beachbody covered the date night for me and my husband, right? Like whatever ways you can use your business to kind of shed some light for other people, right? So the call to action. You guys to find commonalities between your top challengers and coaches and make a list. These are the people you want to attract. If they are go-getters, like my top go-getters, I think about them and I'm like, what is it about them that connects with me, right? And those are the type of people that you attract, right? Do you want to attract those people? If your top people aren't really go-getters, or if you have a whole team of no go-getters, you're not attracting the right people, right? So think about the people that you're bringing into your life. Are your Facebook posts speaking to the people that you want to be attracting, right? So complete your dream coach profile or even challenger profile, right? And like I said, be super specific. Brainstorm Facebook topics that your dream coach would be interested in. Clothing, like outside of the fitness box, right? Bring people in that even like, there was a weird post I put up. Alicia, you and I talked about this one the other day too, the onions with the pepper. That post keeps coming back into my news feed. It was like a home remedy for coughs. And I was like, onion, smother it in pepper, put it in the kids' room because I needed it. And people were like, okay, I'll try it. And still, that post keeps coming back up into my news feed, right? From like complete strangers, and people are liking it. But it's something that connected me with other people. Moms that have kids that are up coughing all night long, and they're like, I just need sleep, right? And they're still looking for something. So a lot of people reached out to me privately and they were like, what the heck was it you did? Because I need something. I just want to rest. And I was like, so then we started a conversation. I was like, I get it. And then you have to work in the morning, and look, that opens up a conversation for coaching, right? I remember when I had to work, and right, it's just so natural. So don't always stay within that fitness box, because you want to make sure you can reach people outside of that box too. If it's all fitness, the people that aren't interested in fitness aren't going to come to you. So you want to find other reasons. Like you just found the best coffee shop. You just found the best day, right? Like connect with people outside of just fitness, because you want to be able to attract those other people too. And then make sure you're creating a list of solutions for your dream coaches challenges. Like I've covered this topic through the whole conversation, right? Make sure that you always have a reason why you're posting. It's not just like, hey, do you have a lot of bills to pay? Hey, are you staying up at night? And then just drop it. Like give them a reason, right? Give them a solution and an answer to the post. And then I like this little picture. It says energy flows where intention goes. So whatever you're putting out, that's where you're going to get back. So I find my Facebook page is really just attracting people to me. I can't even remember the last time I actually sent out. I don't think I do actually. I've said this to my team. I don't really put out a whole lot of like private invites to people. It's just not my thing. A lot of people send out private invites to join groups or join their coaching team, and I love it. But I'm very much about putting so much on my Facebook page that people come to me and they ask me, because I'm just so open and honest. The things that I want to talk to people about privately, I just put it on my Facebook page so they can see publicly. So it's like attraction marketing, so they can kind of see more of what I do without me having to privately message them. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
And that's pretty much it. I talk really fast, so I hope you guys are okay with that.
No, that was awesome. So we have about. Oh, I have an echo. Sorry if anyone has. I'm not technical either, so I don't really know how to fix that. But we have about 3 minutes left. So I know that a bunch of your coaches are on. I know Pam is on for mine, and I know that the whole dropping off at daycare probably really resonated, because she really struggles with that with her new girl. So that's one of her reasons to get back into coaching for sure. So I'm sure that hit home for her. I think this is awesome information, even stuff, to just kind of let it sink in again, but really dialing in with the avatar and, like you said, sharing more outside of just fitness. Like I try to, like everyone knows, if you follow my page, my personal page, I post about coffee every morning. It is my lifeline. It is literally what I believe. Probably too much coffee, but I connect with a lot of people who will never like and comment on anything I post to do with fitness, ever. But if I post about coffee, they will comment every single day. So it's something you got to get that connection with them outside of just Beachbody and just fitness.
And then when they're liking your stuff or commenting on it, people in their newsfeed are going to see it too, right? So just because they're not interested in your fitness post, somebody be like, oh, coffee, I like this girl. And then they start scrolling through your other posts too, right? So make sure that I try one post a day that has something to do with coaching, right? Like just so that if somebody's coming to my page from another source or from another person, they'll see something of my life in there that pertains to coaching.
Yes. Awesome. I don't know. Every time it says less than 1 minute, then it suddenly just cuts off. So I don't want it to cut us off. But thank you so much, Heather, and for your team for getting on and taking the time to talk with us. Sorry more of our team did not get on tonight, but I'm sure they will all watch the replay for sure. So we really, really appreciate it.
I appreciate it.
All right, everybody. Have a good evening.
All right. Bye, guys.
Bye, Heather. Thank you.